Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got ourselves some new patch games here. We've got Astrea in the bottom left side playing Terran, and Clem in the top right playing Protoss. And you might be thinking, oh, it's off race again. Remember, Astrea is a 6k MMR Terran. Clem is, I think, 6.5 with his Protoss, something insanely high. I mean, these guys are very good with their off race. Clem is a big favorite in this matchup as I show you guys the fantastic power of my observing abilities. But it is going to be awesome. We've got the new balance patch on, and there's been so many just kind of interesting things going on, getting tested. The Liberator Circle, of course, we put out a video yesterday just being like, what in the heck is going on with the size of that Liberator Circle? It is massive once you get Liberator Girth, a fantastic new upgrade replacing Liberator Range on the Fusion Core. Now, this is a very forward barrack, so Astrea, I believe what Astrea is doing here is saying, hey, you don't have battery overcharge, let's test how you defend Terran BS. Luckily for Clem, he is going to scout with a probe, and he's going to try and identify what is going on. Now remember, battery overcharge moved, you've got the energy recharge ability, you can use it once a minute on any Nexus. It is a global cooldown though, has the same icon right now as battery overcharge, and essentially you can use that to, within this little white dot radius, add 100 energy to a unit for the cost of 50 energy off the Nexus. Very good for giving energy to High Templar. A lot of people have surmised sentries potentially for scouting or hallucinates and that sort of stuff. Just some cool different uses. It is, though, probably, I don't know, like, obviously we need to see more to be 100% sure, but going off the information we have so far, I do not think it replaces battery overcharge by any means, and I think that's why a lot of people have been very angry towards it, but as much as I don't think it replaces that, I think it's got some potential really cool uses. And in a vacuum, if we were just saying, hey, look at this cool new spell Protoss has, I think we'd be pretty excited. It's just, you know, take away a very core defensive ability completely, and that's where some of the drama comes from. So if you hear people shouting angrily, being a little bit vitriolic, give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, I sometimes overreact when people get very negative and emotional and just make crazy statements, but I understand where it comes from. Because everyone wants the game to be fair, the game to be good. Oh, he does manage to take out that probe, but I think the Adept stops you from getting out of here. Or, oh my gosh, don't tell me he gets, come on, pull a probe, intercept. All you need to do is stop him regenning. Clem was really slow on that Shade, and he's past 23 hit points, which means the Adept can no longer kill him, and that Adept's not going to be able to trap the Reaper. There is a probe at the front here, seeing the factory wall of seeing no command center, so Astrea might be giving away what he's up to, which, by the way, is a build that beyond cheesed him out of the upper bracket of Home Story Cup at the end of 2022. I don't remember the Home Story Cup numbers. Maybe you guys do. So he actually cheesed Astrea out on Data C, or Data C if you're American. Data. Sorry, I get excited. I shout words in American once in a while, guys. It's part of my whole thing. The thing is, I thought you were meant to proxy the starport with that build, because then you proxy the starport, build the medevac, load 3 or 4 Marauders in, boost into the main, and you can even elevate Hellions into the main on the ledge or drive the Hellions in the front at the same time. It's a very nasty build because Protoss is normally not scouting much after dealing with a double gas opening. They're kind of pinned in their base. That being said, he did see that there was no command center just yet. Might be assuming that Astrea's already gone for that, though. No, he's playing super safe. No, he cancels the second battery. Oh no, we might not realize what's happening. Reaper's coming in from that left side, tries to get the probe, not quite able to get it. Astrea's looking to distract him right now and cause an upset. Oracle, defensive Oracle play. Makes sense to go Oracle, right? Oracle is got to be the unit that gets the most benefit from having more energy, and nothing really shoots up in this army. That being said, can a single Oracle really defend? Guys, he's already used the energy ability. Look at how much energy that Oracle has. He just spent 50 on a stasis trap. He's putting stasis traps in his mineral line. Clem's like, yeah, if I get free energy, I need insurance against you killing my workers. I'm just going to put stasis traps in my mineral line. Okay, that's useless, guys. So this shows you Clem doesn't actually know how stasis trap works. They will both get set off because there's a delay. If there's a unit that moves into one zone, it's basically going to move into the other zone, set off both of them, and the second one is completely worthless. So Clem, not sure what you're trying to do there, buddy, but you should never have them right next to each other. In general, you want to have them not overlapping at all because there's too much chance of them activating at the same time. Third Nexus goes down. Oh no, there's Marauders in the main already. The Phoenix does find it. Boy, wait, does he see it? Does he see the stasis trap? Astrea doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. How do you like your daily dose of Protoss BS, says Clem, as he turns the tables on Astrea. This time Astrea sees it, he splits one Hellion off, and as you can see, it does set off both stasis traps, as I said it would, because that's how it works. Nonetheless, this is being shut down, right? Well, not really. He hasn't actually killed the Marauders yet. He's going to pick up 2 of them right now. Fun thing, I never thought about this. You can actually energy recharge a Phoenix to get more lifts. But quite a few Marauders are dying. I'd like to see Astrea shift-clicking those probes. He's fighting an Adept right now. You should be killing probes. Oh, he changes targets at the last second. Does get 1 more probe. What's the total? 8 probes there. Does not get another one. So yeah, 8 probes for a Hellion, a Medevac, and 4 Marauders. I dare say that just got destroyed, guys. I dare say that Clem, with an Oracle into Phoenix opening, has shut this down rather hard. I do like that Astrea is making stim from the barracks. What's his follow-up going to be? His command center has just landed at 5.5 minutes. Man was all in. He was about as all in as they come. Now, luckily for him, Clem's Oracle doesn't have a lot of energy. Could go back to a Nexus, refill that bad boy, though. It is a 1-minute cooldown, remember, so has to wait about 20 more seconds before refilling a unit with energy. Oracle's going to chase down the Hellions, and Astrea's attempt to get map control, not going to work. When he turns this corner, I think he dies unless the Oracle runs out of energy, which he does. Double forge for Clem as well. I mean, Clem's off to the races at this point, right? I actually really like this, guys, because Stasis Trap and a Mineral Line might not be the most reliable idea, but it just gives you that little bit of extra emergency defense. Like, if you think about it, if a Widow Mine drops in there, it just gets frozen. Yeah, more Widow Mines might drop, but like, it kind of just does something. And you might think, well, yeah, you are giving up a Chrono Boost. That's what we need to actually think about when we factor this in. Every single one is a missing Chrono Boost every time you use that energy ability. I think it's still worth it. I think it's absolutely worth it, but it does cost you, a probe, basically, in terms of build time. I mean, you would have had to pay 50 minerals for that probe, but hey, extra production time does matter. Phoenix going to come in, pick off a Marine. Another Marine going to go down here. Clem is just large and in charge right now. Yep, cleans up that Hellion as well. So Astrea, is he just going to go 2 base all in? If you're this far behind, that's usually what Terran goes for. 5 barracks, no 3rd command center. +1 weapons usually is the marker for when you commit. So as that +1 weapons finishes, about 1.5 minutes from now. So about no later than 9 minutes, I think this game should be over. Just from the upgrades. Either Astrea manages to make a crazy comeback with a big all-in of just mass marine, or the 1-1 finishes and the Zealots just swarm over the top. And 1-1's definitely going to be finished. 7 gateways are up, 3 more coming. So it's going to be 10 gate Zealot on 4 Nexus. And, that sounds greedy, but look at Clem. He's not actually probing. He's just happy to sit on 56 workers. And he's just going to transfer to those new bases because he's only playing 2 gas. It's a very simple build order. This is how I used to play this matchup a lot. And I actually really felt like with the new Cyclone, I'm just not as consistent at defending properly when I open up Oracle first. I just find it really hard going Oracle into Phoenix. But who knows, maybe the extra utility with like extra Stasis Trap, extra lifts on the Phoenixes actually makes this a more viable style. I don't know, man. Part of me doubts that. And part of me just is hoping so hard that it's the truth. Guys, this SCV pool makes no sense. He has like 7 Marines. Okay, so a few more on this. That's still 9 Marines and 5 Marauders. It's way too early to go in there. He sees the mass Zealot. Astrea is so boned, guys. Sorry for the bad observing. He did come into the back at the same time. Triple Order Turret will kill some probes, but he just gets mids. That's 28 Zealots. Man's dead. Oh, my lord. I mean, yeah. He's walking the green mile, guys, and Clem's like, you know you're done, right? Even in the choke point, Clem is just fighting, A-moving, does not care. And Astrea, the 1 base aggression does get completely shut down. Now, let's do a very quick bit of analysis of this game before we move on to the next one. If this becomes normal, Stasis Traps in the middle line, players will look out for it. And they will, either avoid walking into it, scan to kill it, or send a single unit in. And actually, you know what? Do you guys know you can dodge Stasis Traps? You'll see Zerg players do this a bit. So I'll show you kind of what he should do at the moment where he should have. So what you notice how when the unit moves into the zone, it kind of activates over a second. So what you can do, see how, I'll show you the moment. So at this moment, it's activating, but it has to go. There's a bit of a delay from when they move into the zone, and which is why it gives time for more units to move into the zone. So Stasis Trap doesn't just instantly freeze the first unit of an army, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be effective. But this window of time, that half a second or whatever it is, also gives you time. You can just move a unit in, pick it up into the medevac after moving into the zone. Zergs will often move a Zergling in and out just on the edge, and they'll easily get it in and out without even getting the single Zergling frozen. So I have a feeling if we had the roles reversed, this was Astrea versus Clem. He puts a stasis trap in his middle line every game. Clem is 100% going to split a Marauder ahead and pick it up into the medevac and then unload it after setting off the stasis trap. And you're going to lose a lot more probes here. So I think as cool as this is, I'm very excited. Like, I love this ability. It's so cool. There's definitely no way this replaces like battery overcharge or something like that in terms of, you know, the ability to help hold a lot of attacks. Not that you necessarily would have a battery against this attack because it's so well hidden anyway, and they attack in your main, not on the natural where the battery is. But just something to keep in mind. I don't think like stasis trap is the most reliable usage of this. I'm sure there's probably more reliable use cases like hallucination scouting and maybe Phoenix energy for more lifts. All right, guys, into another Clem versus Astrea game. Clem in the bottom right, Astrea in the top left on site Delta, and we'll see what they do this time around. I assume Astrea is not just going to do the same straight up cheesy attack, and I also assume Clem will be trying different things out as they're clearly experimenting with the patch and seeing what works. Now, if you are wondering why are we casting so much Astrea, Clem yesterday, today, the day before, essentially I got a lot of replays. These guys played a lot of the patch against each other. They like screwing around with their off race, bit of low pressure practice for these two pro gamers, and they really enjoy experimenting with it as well as being heavily involved with, you know, just trying out these things and giving feedback to the people making the patches happen. So I feel like it's just the best replays I can get my hand on right now. I've been casting and playing on my live stream on Twitch every day, tons of the patch. We just other North American GM players. The problem we have is we're so garbage at the game, and it's all in a new map pool on the private test, the public test realm, the PTR. So we keep kind of just not using the new tools as well as we could. And we're still trying to like learn the maps. And we're just a bit slower to learn than these guys. So we're kind of struggling. And as far as I know, there's not a mod that I know about. No one's told me what the mod is that has the balance changes on it. Everyone's saying, go test the PTR, find the bugs. You know, people already found that Mothership apparently still has the 6 damage rather than the 4 damage. It's meant to be nerfed. So it's actually doing 4 times rather than 3 times the original damage right now, which I don't think anyone cares if that got into the game as is. We're like, cool, Mothership's doing a bit more damage. Why not? Now, nice probe harass here for Clem. That being said, I've been hounding Harstem and a few others. I literally messaged Harstem multiple times, Rainer and others. Harstem said, oh, I don't really have any good games yet. And I was like, I was like, please just empty me your public test realm replay folder. Like, I just want to watch more games, whether or not I put them on YouTube. On, you know, obviously I'll pick the best ones for YouTube to go up here. But I just want to watch them and just like think about what's happening and think about the maps and think about the challenges. So I think hopefully a few of those players oblige. Send me some replays over the next few days and I can give you guys a little bit more variety of what's going on. We might put out a video tomorrow as well with my thoughts so far. A little preview of it so far, guys. Hot preview. Those who've been on my Twitch have heard it. I think Protoss needs to have better power level overall from the patch. And I think the... Okay, so I'm kind of pushing for us to just revert the Cyclone. Ooh, we're doing Sentry first and already at 160 energy. So, okay, we're going to go Sentry this time. Now, Sentry early is very cute, guys. Oh, that would have been so cool if he trapped the Reaper. That would have been so... Okay, that was actually clever. On this map specifically, when you've walled the ledge, Force Field can trap him. That's actually badass. Already Clem's showing me so many cute use cases because it's just such a cheap thing now, that energy, right? Whereas normally you're like, ooh, don't want to waste that energy, you know? That's actually very cute. I like that. I can't even remember what I was talking about, guys. What can I say? Full disclosure, guys, been at the pub, just had a rock climb and a beer with a mate before casting this game. You're like, Pig sounds different. Yeah, but I'm bloody tired, having a good time, watching some video games. My attention span may not be what it normally is. A robo on the natural right there. Third base coming up as well. So this is basically a 100% scouting style. Now, I don't think this is as good. That's what I was saying. We're back to the point. See, we got there, gang. I don't feel... This is not a best of 3 or anything. These games aren't even necessarily on the same day. So I'll get rid of that scoreboard. I really feel like hallucination scouting is amazing. And this is like a thing you could do to boost it. So I was trying a build today. I was playing eggs in some games where I was playing against Zerg, where normally your lack of scouting is your big problem. And if you ever like lose your sentries or don't have enough hallucinations, you can just die. And I was like, oh, cool. That's not really a problem. So I was playing like Adept Glaives, but with a fast third. So it was like a light Glaive's Pressure into just like Immortal Storm. And when you play that without Oracles or Phoenix first, you just like, man, Muta Surprise gets you, Nidus Worm Surprise gets you, they go Swarm Host, they catch you off guard. But because I had non-stop hallucinations, it was kind of cool. So I think Clem might be trying this sort of style, where you can see he's got observers coming out now as well. He wants to see exactly what's going on. Is Ken work well? I do think it really depends on you being picture perfect in your defensive positioning, which right now he is not. Wouldn't mind dropping the main base. Oh me, oh my. No defensive advantage for this. I mean, battery overcharge is never helping against Widow Mine drops, to be fair. Oh, he tries to focus fire it, but oh, he actually does get rid of it. That's cute. Well done. I didn't think he'd be able to kill that, but with so many Stalkers and Sentries, it works out. Astrea pulling away very late. Oh, stacks his probes for a second, but that's okay. Both Widow Mines go down. And yeah, sorry, I keep getting the players confused. That's actually Clem playing Protoss. So Astrea maybe not quite as quick with the Widow Mine retargeting as he could have been. Interference Matrix on the way for Astrea. So he's going to play very standard kind of... what are these guys doing? Guys, what? Who gave these guys? I'm revoking Astrea's Marine card right now. That was a naughty move, mate. Should not be allowed to use those units if you use them like that. Colossus with range on the way. So this is just straight Robo. No Twilight, no Forge. 2 gates. Third gateway goes down. Are we just going to go... Okay, so 4-gate Colossus with an early third base. This reminds me of the time we did a tournament once where no player in the tournament was ever allowed to take gases outside of their main base. So you just got 2 gases. 4,500 gas was kind of like your quota for the entire game. And Neeb destroyed. Oh, actually, it might have been one where you're only allowed 1 gas at each base, actually, that I'm thinking of. Where basically Neeb just had the most picture-perfect, like, defensive setup. He still made Colossus, but he just, like, didn't have much other than Colossus, Zealots. Didn't have a lot of anti-air control like this game. No Blink, no Phoenix. And he just, like, spread his units across his 3 base, had good vision, stayed heavy on Zealots with a few important units like Colossus and, like, 1 Sentry and some good upgrades. And he made it actually look like a really well-rounded style versus top pro gamers. And I remember that was kind of cool for me because I feel like you see such creativity from pros when you put them in these constrained environments. And that's actually something which... right now, Clem is showing, you know, pretty good start. Astrea on 54 work. He does have a 3rd command center almost finished. 4th and 5th barracks there. Medevacs are on the way. Forge is finishing up. Oh, chrono boosting, but not quite having the 100 gas. Does he realize? Guys, did he just chrono his Twilight and his Forge while not having gas for either upgrade? Clem really is a Protoss player. That's what I do every day, man. I always chrono before I start the thing. It's like a habit. I think there's a good argument to start the thing, then chrono boost the building, because usually it's when you try to make it that you realize you don't have enough money. He does now realize and re-chronos the +1 attack over there. Okay, so he's got a few probe scouts out. So it's just been basically, like, if we think about this from Clem's point of view, because he's the one who's really using the new tools right now, which makes sense. I mean, Astrea hasn't made it to range libs yet. He hasn't made any sensor towers, which... I have been using sensor towers in all my games as Terran. By the way, hold that thought. Hallucinated probes. Did you know hallucinating probes? It's the 1 unit you can hallucinate where you get 4 for a single 75 energy. So that's actually his ploy for map control is I'm going to hallucinate probes and move them out. That's badass. I've seen a few players do this very occasionally. He's even sending fake warp prisms across. Oh, this is awesome. Because if your opponent sees that but doesn't actually get to attack it, they don't realize it's fake. They start sending units to respond. This is actually really smart energy usage for Clem. But wait, Clem moves out of position. Astrea gets past him. Astrea could use this to his advantage. He's got 2 Ravens, remember. Oh, one of those Ravens taking big damage. Widow Mines tank sieging up. Widow Mines are going to get big shots. Remember, he doesn't have Blink or anything like that. Interference Matrix, all 3 Colossus go, and the Immortal as well, all get absolutely wrecked by that. The Immortal goes down. We can get rid of the sentries, and then maybe the Colossus are about to get back, though. Good pullback, good pullback. Astrea gets rid of a Colossus. He gets rid of an Immortal. A few sentries and stalkers as well. For what? A few Marines and Marauders? Not bad at all. He splits his drop here. Blink is about to finish, though. I think if those medevacs went north, they might have made it out of there. But now, outlook is rather bleak. He did hide the Raven in the back, though, which is nice. And those Stalkers, Clem, very good micro, gets 2 of the medevacs. They are empty medevacs, but at least he gets some value for the pain that he took. 4th command center is on the way. Ghost Academy, +1 armor charge. I want to see more hallucinations from map control. We just got caught out of position. Like, I want to see that energy ability topping these guys up. Because it feels like this game, there's kind of like a more standard style, no early Oracle, no stasis traps, and early hallucinations getting spammed is great. I love the idea of the force fields on the ramp. Like, there's so many cool uses that are also very, like, high-scale, tricky. You need to be, like, quite intentional and intelligent, I think, as a player to really utilize this ability. I think this ability is the coolest thing that's been added to StarCraft in many years. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I just think it's so badass. And I think if he wasn't so pressured by these bloody drops in Raven, we'd be seeing a lot more of those hallucinated probes controlling the map. But I think Clem's just a bit too busy to think about refilling his energy right now because Astrea is all over him. Now, to be fair, I mean, Protoss is still getting good upgrades, getting closer to maxed out. We know Clem is very good with his control, even with his off race. Does clean up that base, 5th base going up in the bottom for Clem. So +2 attacks on the way, +1 arm is almost done for him. Is there a 2-2 on the way for Astrea? He does have 2nd engineering bay and armory, but he's forgotten his 2-2. That's really important because his upgrades are going to be so far behind. He's got 2 engineering bays, not really doing much right now. I think we can see that Clem a little bit more natural in the micro with the Protoss or the macro than Astrea is with the Terran. And that's not unusual. I would argue Terran macro basics are much harder than Protoss. I think there's a reason why, there's a lot of players who are quite solid. Well, we're not solid, but, reasonably good with their Protoss off race. Not reliable. They're not going to have, like, the most high-level play, but they're up to a decent standard. They're only 400 or 500 MMR lower than their main skill level, right? But I think learning all the basics, especially of macro play with Terran, takes a bit longer. I think if you play cheesy Terran, it's not that hard to learn. Like, if you just hit 2 base timings all the time, you could pick that up pretty quickly. But since Astrea is playing a very generic macro game, this is where suddenly, like, not only does the macro get more advanced, it's also, like, picking the fights, choosing the positioning, all that sort of stuff. And that becomes very difficult as the Disruptors come out. Remember, guys, Disruptors do not one-shot Marauders anymore. They're way worse versus tanks. They're a little worse versus Marauders. They're way worse versus Thors, though. How often are we going to see that outside of an odd mech game here and there? Mech versus Sky Toss, you do see that quite a bit. Oh, Widowmine's getting good shots off. Disruptors have bigger radius as well. So the bigger radius is so nice versus Marines, Ghosts, SCVs. There's a lot of times where the balls used to just get dodged, and now they barely clip, and they get like, oh, you get a Marine or a Marauder with each shot a lot more frequently. So I love the radius change. My big pet peeve, because I'm kind of, as we cast these games, I want to filter in my analysis for the patch, not just do videos saying patch good, patch bad, or, analyzing the patch. I want to, cast games and talk about it at the same time. That's what this week is going to be. And maybe 2 weeks. I don't know how long this public test ROM is going to be out. I don't think the Disruptor should be force supply. I think if we're going to go crazy and make it only do 100 damage to non-Protoss units, then, like, why is it still, like, I get we're giving it back its old radius. Can we just give it back its old 3 supply as well? Like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't... There's a bit too much horse trading right now with Protoss changes, where every time there's, like, a good thing for Protoss, it always feels like there has to be a bad thing. I feel like we could just have, like, 1 or 2, because these changes aren't really big in these patches, right? They're lots of small changes. I just wish there was, like, a few that were a bit less ambiguous, right? Just optically, it would be nice to go, oh, we gave a nice thing to Protoss. But I feels like, like the Immortal is also 10% slower attack speed, right? And it's 10% cheaper on minerals, but on its gas. So you're like, oh, they made it cheaper. That's awesome. That's so nice. Immortals got nerfed from 250 to 275 minerals back in 2019 because Immortal charge load all-ins were too powerful versus Zerg, the famous Marjorie build. But anyway, we'll talk about that more later. They never changed it back, is what I was going to say to finish that thought. Clem's going mad, guys. DT Blink on the right, Disruptors on the south. This is really hard to deal with. Nice Stalker micro for Clem, focusing on the Vikings. Balls! Big ball lands. One of the Disruptors gets focused down. Another big ball lands on the right side. Oh, Astrea, where are you splits? That was a really nice split from Astrea, but if he can't chase the army down, will it even matter? Remember, those Dark Templar did big damage on that right side. He gets another Disruptor down. He should get a sentry, but those Colossus, if another Warpin comes in, they'll be safe. Bottom left side, base is up as well. Clem has more income. Marauders pull back. He does scan, but he's already got a turret there, so he should be fine. Blink DT, so good, not only for engaging, but for disengaging as well. And units lost tab is 3,000 better in favor of Astrea, but Astrea's outnumbered. He's outgunned. He does have a bigger army supply by about 30, but he's also down about 30 workers. So I don't know who that puts ahead and who that puts behind. I think as long as Clem keeps making him multitask, Like, Zealot DT on one side, Disruptors on the other in late game is one of the highest skill tests you can give a Terran player. You do this to Clem, it doesn't do that much because Clem's a god. But against Astrea, off racing, there's no way he's going to be practicing this scenario. And he balls down, plus Zealots the planetary. Colossus plus Disruptors on this side. Oh my gosh, another giant ball lands. And honestly, I don't notice them not one-shotting Marauders at all. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I think we need to see more games. I think it's way bigger, the Disruptor nerf up against Roaches, Ravagers, Tanks, Ultras. You know, it's kind of the more rare use cases plus Zerg, essentially. Lurkers, it only takes them down to 100 hit points. It used to take them down to 55 hit points, I believe. And technically, funny thing someone pointed out in my chat today, 2 Disruptor shots won't kill a Lurker anymore. Unless they hit at the exact same time, because Zerg units regen the instant you do damage to them. So a 200 hit point Lurker, if a Disruptor hits it twice, it's going to be like, oh, 100.3 hit points. It will literally go to 100.3. I think it goes up in 0.3 increments. And then the next shot will land, and it'll show the Lurker as being on 1 hit point, when it's actually on like... Sorry, 0.3 or 0.6 seconds as I accidentally hit my mute button like a true professional. Anyways, this was kind of awesome for Clem, guys. This shows a different approach. I really wish he landed that force field at the start on the Reaper, because I think that would have been the super cool move. You're like, oh man, like that's actually amazing. I never thought of that. You could just afford to waste 100 energy trapping the Reaper and still have a hallucination behind it. Disruptors, I think the radius change is so good. It just feels a little bit better. Feels like the unit has its old power to a certain extent in the splash range. And I just think it, you know, we can go ahead with this crazy nerf, makes it not as lethal, but I think we should probably put its supply back to 3 from 4. I love that we saw hallucinated probes at 1 or 2 moments in this game. I think the hallucinated probes would be awesome if you can keep doing that to get vision. Other than that, yeah, I do think getting Oracle and Stasis Trap spam seems like a higher utility way of using this. And getting Storm. Where is the Storm in these games? I guess that's what I'm going to have to show you guys in a few days. More Storm. I think we saw some of it in over on the Pigcast channel yesterday. We did cast a game of these two both playing their main races versus each other, where Astrea used a lot of filling up High Templar with Storm. And actually, in one of those fights, I believe he did refill his High Templar after getting EMP'd and stormed down Clem's army. And it was like a really clutch hold on his third base. So go check that video out over on Pigcasts if you haven't already. And we'll bring you back more content about the matchups tomorrow. Someone just sent me a really good PVZ, they told me. So we might be covering some Zerg versus Protoss tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.